Barbara, you just wrote a new book.
I did.
It's called Holy Envy.
It is.
What is that? Tell me.
That is the story of teaching world religions at a rural college in Northeast Georgia for 20 years, which means through many presidents and many international conflicts, and trying as a Christian to do that in a way that inspired perhaps envy instead of fear of people who were not like the students I taught. And I think it worked for the most part.
This before seminary? After seminary?
The class I have taught, I just retired from that job 2 years ago.
Wow.
And so I did that for 20 years, and that was post-seminary and post-congregational ministry and into a college teaching job.
Because you walked out of that congregational ministry thing.
Yeah,
I
just
remember that
six
book.
miles
Just
up
like
the
6
road
miles up the
to
road.
the college. That's right. I followed
Yeah.
the trailer full of furniture.
How do you have the courage to go out and be you? What makes you able to leave a thing, okay, and do a new thing?
Well, we could talk about it in mentally ill ways or healthy ways.
Well,
And
let's pick one.
Okay, well, the mentally ill way would be that I flee competence. As soon as I get good at something, I leave and go do something else because the standards are too high when you're competent.
Ooh.
But the more healthy way would be to say that I'm a learner. And when I've learned as much as I think I can learn about something, it's time to go be a beginner at something else and go learn about that instead. So
I was listening to you today.
Yes.
You were talking,
Yes.
and I was talking, but I heard my dad, and then I heard marijuana, and then I heard sex. What did your parenting, what did your growing up give you in terms of both that competent
Yes.
leave thing and also I'll go? What did you get?
I grew up with parents who were experimenting with the freedoms of the late 60s and 70s, and also with the cultural disruption of those times, with a lot of assassinations and war and upset. So they sort of led me into that because I was their first child, which means I was very obedient, the eldest daughter. So I got a lot of encouragement and perhaps too much encouragement from my father to enjoy the liberties of living in the late 60s and early 70s. Yeah. So he was the first one who offered me marijuana and said I should try it.
Did you like it?
Not much, because I liked being in control pretty much.
Yeah.
And I just ended up laughing inappropriately for a long time when I smoked marijuana. And I did inhale. I did.
The first time I smoked marijuana and I did inhale was almost my last. So twice. I did not like being high.
No.
I think I wake up kind of high.
Yeah.
And I think to add the wake up high on the other high, I was insane. I did
brilliant.
not enjoy it.
I'm borrowing your answer the next time I'm asked.
Right.
That's
I did not enjoy it.
wonderful.
So we're living in a world that is kind of on fire.
Yeah.
What I might call a hot mess time, where interreligious fighting and even those of us who are Christians are not able to say, here's what we think, here's what we believe, and we are not building an interfaith global community. And then your book is arguing there is something to get from these religions. Could you talk about the religions and justice? What could we get from religions to make us make a more just society?
Two answers to that. One is I don't like saying all religions are alike because they're not.
They're not.
But it's hard to find one that doesn't have at its core that the best way to get over yourself is to see in the neighbor the face of the sacred. And if you're in a tradition that doesn't speak of the sacred, still to see in your neighbor the best opportunity you have for waking up,
Right.
for becoming more awake.
Sure.
So there's that we can get from religions, is that we seem to have that in common when we don't have a lot other in common, that how I treat you is primally important.
Right.
Now, within the traditions, there's a lot going on, but it's at the edges of the tradition. So there are Christians at the edges of theirs, meeting with people of other faiths and no faiths
That's correct.
at the edges of theirs. And what's exciting about that to me is there's human connection
Right.
and connections around values
Yeah.
that are as important as religious alliances for a lot of people. So that offers great promise. Not that they'll lessen their religious commitments, but they will see how their religions serve these relationships with people across previously obeyed boundaries.
I love that. I love the way you said that. And my mind goes to Women's March, for example, and just thinking about Linda Sarsour, who's Miss Palestinian Justice Muslim, and Sharon Brous, who's Miss rabbi, justice woman, and how when I'm with the two of them or some of our other colleagues that are Christian and Muslim and Jewish, we are not trying to convert each other. We are not letting go of our own faith, but we are actually creating some narrative together, some story together, some history together, and context, and saying we're going to point our love toward making a better world.
That seems...
This is good, right?
It is, and what I tell Christians who are worried about the being part of God's good news for the world, what if God's good news for the world is God intends to heal the world and will take any partners who are willing, and wishes they would get together instead of warring with each other about the right way to do that. So I think there's even a way with pretty traditional Christians to tweak your idea of what it means to be a missionary. What if God's mission's to heal?
Right.
And we'll take, again, any willing partners.
We'll take anybody.
Yeah.
I will deputize you. I will deputize you, agnostic, atheist, Buddhist, yoga doing.
I've got
I like
work
that
for you
vision
to
of
do.
God.
Yeah.
Could you describe God for me in 3 more words?
I won't be able to do that because I find words fail more and more. I like a lot of people was brought up with the old white guy, with a lot of hair.
Did he have a
on
lot
his
of
chin.
beard?
Yeah,
Okay.
on a cloud, with angels with harps behind him, and more, that's long ago, completely inadequate. But God begins to seem to me more like connective consciousness, and I don't mean to disembody God because
No, that's
I'm
good.
Christian enough to think bodies count for everything, but I do get the sense that God is not embodied, in the way I am, but is very much what is between and connecting all of our bodies and informing everything that happens.
God's in the liminal. God's in the ligaments.
Yeah, way more. Oh, that's good. I like
That
that.
was good.
God is in the ligaments.
God is in the ligaments. Because
Religion. There you go.
Come on now.
Ligaments.
right there.
That's right.
God is in between, in
Yeah.
the ligaments. I think that could preach.
Yeah, I think
that
so too.
could preach. One more. I'm dreaming of. What are you dreaming of for America, Barbara?
Oh, I'm dreaming small scale because I live in rural America.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, oddly, I'm living with more diversity of every kind, political diversity and economic and educational diversity in the country than I ever did in the city.
Wow.
Because in the city, I
Really?
could silo. I could just be with my own folks, go to
Okay.
the church I liked. And in the country, you can't do that. You're going to buy your feed from somebody who's, voting for. At any rate,
getcha.
I've got small scale in mind, which is neighborliness across neighborhood divides, and I'm leaving the really large global things to people like you. I'm so sorry
That's
to
okay.
be doing that.
I'm happy to split that dream thing with you.
Yeah.
So you're going to do the local dream.
I'm gonna carry that
neighborliness. Say it again. That's beautiful.
Neighborliness at the local level seems the place that I'm well planted to do. Whether that's trying to get a group together to pick up trash by the side of the road, though we cancel each other's votes out and don't agree on guns, but just finding things we can do together that we enjoy doing together, and to try to resist the temptation to demonize each other because we're different. And where I am, the difference will look different than it does to you in New York City, but it's still worth trying some things out that would get us talking.
Neighborliness, locally, globally, nationally. Won't you be my neighbor?
Yes, I will. I will. I just need a sweater first. So
And a cup of hot chocolate.
that's right.
Can I give you a hug? Thank you. I love you too. You're awesome. Thank you.
If you were hard to love, it'd be more noble of me, but you're really easy to love, so that makes it difficult.
I'm dreaming about a global neighborhood.
Yeah, you are. And,
right?
and,
I am.
and that is your gift.
Well,
and
we got to dismantle this other borders and boundaries.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And I do. And I count on you and people on the main stage. Plug Wild Goose.
Yay.
But don't say it out loud.
Yeah, we're going to do it right now. Thank you.
I could not be having this conversation if it weren't for Wild Goose. So I thank everybody from Jeff Clark down to the kind volunteer who made sure I had on my bracelet today for this festival and the invitation to be here. I will be back.
Wild Goose, go. Thank you.